What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back with another ranked video. This is F1 2020 Road to Master Rank, the series where we try to be the best Formula 1 gamer in history. Check out the previous episode if you haven't already, the first one where basically I think I titled it around me getting taken out and some guy needed to be banned off of the F1 game servers. That's just me in a nutshell, being dramatic as always. But in today's episode, there is no shortage of drama, as you could tell by the title of the video. We will get to that a little later on. We're Gold Rank 1. We need to get to Master Rank. That is after Gold Rank 3. And I believe if it follows suit around the previous games, it'll kick in around 2,600 rating. We're at 2,100 at the moment, but we are ready to kick off our first race here at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. We are running a Silverstone setup, but I'm not too sure about the wings, the downforce. It might be a little bit unstable, but we're going to go for aggression in order to maximize the lap time. But with aggression comes the risk of spinning out, and that is exactly what has happened heading into Copseal Turn 1 corner. All four tyres overheated. We gingerly crawl it back to the line, and still the tyres were overheated by the time we finished the lap. And in the end, we still managed to get 4th place somehow on the grid, that being the rest of the field, all getting disqualified, all 8 of them. Now, ranked is a little bit different to your normal unranked lobbies. This is purely based on matchmaking, and I think I did this pretty late at night on PC, which has a lower player base than console, so there wasn't as many people online. But as we get through this episode, the lobby fills up more and more. 5 red lights, and we are away for our first race of the episode, the British Grand Prix. Let's see if we can win this race, starting from P4 on the grid. Turn 1. That was less than ideal. Let's have a look at that on the replay. I was just completely speechless after what happened there. So, as you can see, we slowed down to turn 1. Someone, that guy on the left-hand side, just kind of came over on my line a little bit. I was a bit worried that I was going to hit him. I had a little bit of a correction. That invited the guy behind me on my left-hand side to get a run on me. And then I ended up hitting him anyway and getting a tiny bit of front wing damage, and sending us caressing down the field into last place. So, it's P10 at the moment. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got to catch up the nearest car. It was about 5 seconds when we initially made the spin to the nearest car. And now we've actually overtaken about 3 guys there who all had a big moment there at the Maggots-Beckett section, which promotes us up into P7. So, if we want to move up in terms of rank in this race, we need top half of the field finishes, so top 5 would be ideal, and I don't imagine we'd lose too many points. Last game, and especially the game before that, if you weren't consistently on the podium, sometimes even winning races, you're not gaining any rank at all. If anything, you'd be going backwards in terms of rating. So, yeah, that is why we need to be consistent, and we can't give up in these races. We can't quit out of the lobby. If you quit out of the lobby, game over. That's a straight up 100 points you're losing. So you got to keep going. You can't give up, and you just got to salvage whatever you can. It's a brutal way of going about things, but I think that's the right way. It encourages people to stay in if they want to protect their rank. So it's a good system. Let's see if we can come away with something worth shouting about at the end of this one. That's worth shouting about. A 1:27.4, fastest lap of the race, with a bit of front wing damage. Don't mind if I do, as we run through into the first sector now, up the inside of Mateus there, and we're up in the top 5 now. So exactly where we want to be, and this race isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. There's still 2 cars just up the road a little bit, so we could easily get a podium in this British Grand Prix. The race leaders as well aren't exactly flying away either, so we could be on for a really good race here as we set up the move now on CSZ76 on the run out of the Maggots-Beckett's Chapel section, and we fly into P4. Next up is Kova, and we're going to see if we can get him and move ourselves onto the podium. Maybe we could get a fast lap on this lap as well, but we'll have to wait and see as we head into the final sequence of corners. Went in a little bit deep there. That's one section I always get wrong on the F1 games. I get far too greedy under brakes. I always rush in too much, and I don't set up a nice run, a nice exit up to the line. So that's something I definitely need to work on when it comes to this track. Can we go the inside of Kova? No is the answer, as he looks a little bit more handy under brakes. There'll be no dive bombing on this guy, that's for sure. But let's see if we can set him up. We do have DRS on this lap. We're going to open that up as we head on to the Wellington Straight. Give him plenty of space. You never know with people in ranked. Sometimes they like to barge you off the track and weave a little bit. There's no harm in leaving a little bit of extra space, because you never know. But anyway, that was our race. We come across the line and we recover to get a podium in this race. So that should be a decent-ish amount of gain in terms of points. I mean, at least we won't be losing points. That's the main thing, I guess. We, for some reason, have our placement there, but that's not right. But still gold rank 1. I don't think we lost any points. What's annoying, though, is that, I don't know, in previous games, you could see the amount of points you gain or lost in each race. Whereas here, I have no idea. I have no idea whether I gained or not. But I'm just basing that off of what we had at the start of the video. And I think we were on like 2150 or 2160. We're now on 2190. So that's around 40 points gained or whatever. So, not bad. Let's keep that up. Let's keep winning. And let's hope that we can make some big boy strides towards 2,600. The golden number we need for Master Rank. The next race up is Austria. And you can see the lobby is a little bit more populated with drivers, and good drivers at that. If you've got more gold players in your lobby, then chances are if you beat them, you'll gain even more points than if you're just beating silvers, for example. The qualifying lap going pretty well here. Spoke too soon. It's not going well. We've been disqualified from the one-shot quali, which will probably mean we're going to be starting from the back in this Austrian Grand Prix. I am going to see if I can finish off the lap strong, though. Up to the line, DRS open. It's a really good lap otherwise, 103.4. And we check the leaderboards, and pole position was a 104.6. So based on that logic, we would have got poled by 1.2 seconds at Austria, which is pretty much unheard of unless you're Lewis Hamilton. But regardless, 1.2 second advantage. No one else was really near us. So heading into the race, even though we're starting from P10, I reckon we could still have a really good time of things as we get ready for 5 red lights. And we are underway for the second race of this episode, the Austrian Grand Prix. It looks like a nice start as we head into turn 1. Late on the brakes as we outbrake the guy in the middle of the track, but it's just absolute carnage that ensues at the exit of turn 1. More people have been spun off on the infield there, and we find ourselves up in P5. Now, I initially called this as me braking late, but in actual fact, the guy who's on my left-hand side just kind of broke early as we head into here. I think is it Aussie? I think it is Aussie. He just brakes super early relative to me, and then everyone else, I broke around their points, and then I kind of had to cut more of the inside curve there. Illegal overtake. Guy gets spun out there. Then there's someone overtaking me on the inside, on the grass, and then if you look behind, then there's even more that kicks off behind. But we got through. I think we got done for a corner cutting warning, which is absolutely fine. But the main thing to take away out of turn 1 in ranked is just come away with an entire front wing. That's literally all that matters, and making sure that you don't spin out and end up in last place, a la Silverstone. But that's not the case. It's P5. We've got a good base to start off with. Make that P4 as we get past CSZ76. Who just completely understeers in the middle sector. And we are now going to be able to put pressure on the top 3 purple to the first sector of lap 2. We got back row here, who is certainly not on the back row of the grid today. He's an Australian. So he is... I recorded this, I think at like midnight UK time. So he must have been a keen bean getting up at the crack of dawn, trying to record or just take part in some online ranked gameplay. Fair play if you are indeed an Australian. We can never be sure because they're all paid actors. I would know. I am one. Anyway, lap 2, and we are on the brink of getting into P2 in this Austrian Grand Prix, putting pressure on Mateus here runs wide out of the final corner, and we're going to put it up into overtake and fly past on the start-finish straight. Annoyingly, he was deploying overtake down that whole straight, and couldn't quite get the overlap that I wanted into turn 1, but we got the move done anyway. A little bit awkward there at turn 1. It's surprisingly not actually an overtaking zone. It's not really an overtaking corner per se. It's actually relatively medium to high speed actually. So it's not ideal to run side by side through there. You lose a lot of time. But we got it done anyway. We got the fast lap of the Grand Prix. We're trading fast laps with 11 here in P1 as we absolutely smashed that previous best with a 104.7, and we're looking to beat that once again as we are on the attack here in Spielberg. And just fast forwarding through the lap so you can see just how I'm driving. The car feels amazing out of the final 2 corners. That second last corner especially, one downshift down to 7th gear, flick it in, and the car just sticks. It's absolutely phenomenal driving through there. But yeah, I just thought I'd show this race in its entirety. I'll just show you that I'm not cutting corners, I'm not cheating or anything, because this is, well, the race where we get bullied by the lobby. Or is it? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a last lap, and depressingly, didn't get close enough to have a go at this guy. All I needed was one more lap. Just one more lap. Just like Daniel Ricciardo in Spa. One more lap is what we needed, and we could have had glory, but no, we ran out of time in this Austrian Grand Prix. We move up to Gold Rank 2, and we actually lost some safety rating there because I was a cheeky boy and literally maximized all of the track limit warnings that I possibly could. I think I got more than 3 warnings, but somehow I avoided a penalty, but that was very lucky. We come back. This is actually a new day, and surprisingly, we're back at Austria. So that's unfortunate timing, I guess. But this time, we're negotiating Spielberg in the rain. The Red Bull Ring is a very different place when it's damp, and you're going to find out why. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the penultimate race of this video, and it's a side-by-side affair as we head into turn 1. We did get pole position in this race, so not having to do the hard yakka to get into a decent position. We're going to see if we can win from pole position here in the rain. I really enjoy wet weather races when you're on the pace. That's a massive asterisk, because normally when it comes to wet weather races, normally that doesn't mean that I'm on the pace. But today, that was the case, and I was very comfortable. I was very much in the groove, just running my Austria time trial setup that I ran in the previous race. So it's a dry setup, it's a qualifying setup, but it seemed to work decently in this one, and we were stretching away from those behind us, the gap extending by a second or so, a lap. MRT Zotac was the nearest challenger. He was consistent, but didn't quite have the pace. But the rest of the field were relatively inconsistent, and that's why the gap is 15, 17 seconds to those guys. And that was the Grand Prix, essentially. I'm just showing you this last lap here to show you that, again, we weren't cheating, we weren't corner cutting, we weren't doing anything illegal. That was a legitimate 11.6, and that was legitimate pace. But come the end of the Grand Prix, or come the end of this race, we had some protesters, I guess. But that's our first race win of the video, surprisingly. We bottled a couple of those races early on, but we finally put it all together, and we get the win. And with that, a good chunk of points, which puts us at 2.2k. I think it's 2. Oh. Yep, there it is. We, someone wasn't happy with our performance. They tried to kick us out of the lobby because we were too fast. That's funny. That takes me back to when I used to get kicked for being too fast in public lobbies with ex-Matty G. Me and him back in the day, before we were YouTubers, we used to get kicked all the time by random people hosting online lobbies. They honestly thought we were cheating, and It's certainly not the case. It's winding back the clock. But anyway, here we are for Bahrain. This is the final race. Again, I think we got pole position here. And we're going to try and lead from the front if we can. Same lobby as before. As you can tell, we didn't get kicked. There wasn't enough people who thought we deserved to be kicked, thankfully. And we stay in for another race. But it's been a good start. We hold on to track position. We hold on to our front wing, which is the crucial thing. And right from the outset, we're going to see if we can break the toe, break the DRS, and just put this race result beyond doubts. Do a Sebastian Vettel of the Red Bull V8 era. And just run away with the race. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. Burn all the fuel, burn all the ERS, so that there's absolutely no response from them. And we'll just bring it home comfortably as we set a 27.3, 2.3 seconds faster than my previous best. We then go a little bit faster on lap 3, and that was the race. We extended the gap massively in this race. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how the people behind were not able to keep within 2 seconds of me per lap, but that was an extraordinary gap that we pulled on them. Nearly 15 seconds at the end of the day, and that is another win. I think we're nearing on gold rank 3, but we're not quite there as we go to the results screen. We beat MRT Zotac in this race and in the last one, so he's a guy who is on the brink of getting master rank, and we convincingly beat him. So we're well on track to getting to where we need to be. Get wrecked, noobs.